Nige, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. How are you
Yeah, my
doing?
pleasure. Yeah, good man. My pleasure, actually. I'm okay. Um, Still in lockdown for a little while by the looks of it. And the weather's kind of frustrating outside, but apart from that, all good, thanks.
Yeah, I was going to say, how have you been holding up in the lockdown era?
Yeah, not too bad actually. Been okay. Um, I've had lots to keep me busy with the new album and stuff. So I think I started to sort of self isolate on March the 15th, I think, and
Mm.
that's kind of when we started mixing the album. So I've been dealing with that all the time. It
Oh,
made
so
it,
that's been, I guess, predominantly your focus work side.
yeah, it was kind of weird, and it made it really difficult. Because usually I'd go into the studio with the whoever was mixing the album for the first few days just to get everything set up and start painting the picture, But we couldn't do that time because it was being mixed in Sweden, and obviously I couldn't get there.
Mm.
So we had to do everything via kind of sending MP3s by email and then phone calls back and text messages. Absolute nightmare. So you could imagine if there's a slight tweak that might take literally like 20 seconds in the studio, it's taking like 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was difficult, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I was going to be like, oh, the hard work starts now, I guess, the build towards the release, but
Yeah, and it's never done that way before. But like I said, we got there, and then now on to the next stage,
mm.
which is very cool.
Yeah, of course, it's all about the build now. We are a couple of months away, August 7th,
Yeah.
for the album. How do you how do you feel about this period? You've obviously done this enough times before, but where you're drip feeding a single and you got to do your interviews and your press and so on.
Yeah, it's this is the only part of being in a band that I get nervous about.
Okay.
Nothing else. Nothing else ever phases me. Play to as many people as you like. You can go and play with anybody you like. You can go into the studio. Never a nerve. But as soon as the new music comes out, it's a whole different thing.
Mm.
Because you just don't know how people are going to take it. It's
Ah,
it's very uncertain.
because of course there's pressure, and obviously with this release, there's a fair bit of anticipation. I mean, 7 years is a long time, and but going off the release of the single, the hunger is still there from the fans. Has that surprised you?
Um, no, to be honest, no. Our fans, I got to say, are an absolutely amazing bunch of people. Yeah, it's been 7 years. It's a long time, but it's not as though we've been out of the spotlight. We've been. It's only the last year or so that we've been quiet.
Yeah,
Since Six came out in 2013. Yeah, I can't even count how many tours we've done in that time.
yeah.
We toured the album worldwide for 2 years, and then the 30th anniversary of the Force album appeared in like 2016. So then that tour went on for 2 years, even though it was a 1 year anniversary. It just went on and on and on because of demand. So we were basically touring for sort of 4.5 years straight after the release of that album. And that's why everything's taken so long to get the album together. So like I said, we haven't been out of the public eye in terms of live performances, just on the release front.
Yeah, because ultimately when people think of Onslaught, I think they tend to think of live performances. That is your bread and butter. That's where you guys seem to excel. Would you agree?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's what the band's all about, really. I mean, these days it's very different to back when we first started and released the first three albums. Obviously, back then things were very sales based for bands, and that's where your income came from back then. Whereas now it's complete role reversal. Your income comes from touring.
Yeah.
And making a record is just purely a tool of marketing to get you out to do those live shows now. So yeah, I mean that's what we're about, live shows. I mean, it's nothing better than traveling the world, meeting some amazing people, going to some amazing places, and it's just, you can't beat it. I mean, we've been so fortunate. I think we've played in around 70 different countries in the world now. So it's just had an amazing career.
Yeah, it must be additionally frustrating then that having the new album out and potentially getting out live the rest of 2020 may not be something that actually happens.
Yeah, in particular, the fact that we had some really amazing festivals booked this year, and we have big plans for those festivals as well. We're going to taking out, it's sort of building up the show a lot and really putting something a bit more spectacular on, you know. So that's gone down the drain.
Yeah,
I think there's still 2 shows they're hanging in there. A new festival in Germany in September.
okay.
But I'm really not holding out much hope for that one. And then we've obviously got Damnation Festival later on in the year, which possibly, you never know, and just keeping everything crossed.
That's all it is now, isn't it? Just wait and see and fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, we were booking North American Canada tour for October, November, South American tours, and it's just all been put back again now. So it's just, you've got to start from scratch all over.
Yeah. Well, we have had a taste of the new album already in the form of Religious Suicide. It's gone down a treat. That being out now and people haven't listened to it, has that taken any of the sort of expectation and pressure off yourself?
No, because it's only one track. But as you said, the response and the fans has been incredible. And what I will say is it's from far the strongest track personally on the album. You never throw all your eggs in the basket straight away. So we've not released the stronger tracks yet. As much as I do love Religious Suicide, it's a real in your face headbanger pit song, just so much energy. But yeah, there's a lot more to come yet from the album.
Fantastic. And you kind of already said about being a pit filler and a headbanger. It's brimming with anger, but focused anger. What's making Onslaught angry these days, if anything?
I'm always angry. This world, man, it just gets worse, doesn't it? It's just like something, every time you pick up paper or go onto the internet, there's something that pisses you off. So it's great for writing songs, it really is. I mean, my old friend Religion appears on the album a couple of times, but there's some new things. I think governments are starting to really upset people with their lies and the way they handle things and go about things, especially 2 particular leaders I can mention.
I'm sure I can think of the 2.
Yeah, so this kind of gives us a lot of fuel. I mean, there's a few tracks that have a sort of political edge on the new album as well. So as you say, it's made me angry and given me some more lyrical fuel, if you like.
Perfect. And was there a kind of singular goal with Generation Antichrist, kind of like where you maybe thought, oh, we want it to be super heavy or super aggressive?
Yeah. Every time we make a record, we kind of sit down and debate. You need a path where you're going to head, otherwise you're sort of wandering aimlessly for a little while trying to find your feet. So me and Jeff sat down before we started writing this record and sort of said, where should we go? And it was Jeff actually came out and said, look, why don't you sort of introduce some of the more sort of punky elements from the early days in the album? I said, yeah, that's kind of cool, but I never like to go full on backwards, you know. I don't want to go and write Power from Hell or The Force again. But what we did do, we've touched on those albums, particularly maybe The Force, in a modern way. Tried to bring that kind of attitude and vibe into 2020, you know. I think you'll find that 6 was probably the most, what for a better word, technical record we've ever made. Quite busy, lots of intricate riffs, whereas this one has gone back to more simplicity, I would say. Much more open rule riffs, and I think it just, the aggression benefits from that openness, you know, without too much busyness going on. That was the plan. We a few little punk elements in there, and I think the chorus in the opening track, Strike Fast, Strike Hard, was one of the first riffs I'd ever wrote for Onslaught back in the day, and kind of rehashed it, stole it from a song that we never record. We never actually recorded the song or demoed it or nothing. So, but I still remember the song because I really liked it, and I really liked the riff in the chorus. So I robbed myself.
That's fantastic. And the album has a re-record version of A Perfect Day to Die from 2019, right? What
Yeah.
prompted that to be included?
Well, it was always going to be. It was the first track of the album that we'd written anyway, so it was always going to be on the album. It was just the fact that from the release date then until the release date now of the album was a little bit longer than we would have liked. We've had a few delays, and now the coronavirus come in, so it's kind of put us back month after month after month. So it was always going to be part of that album. So basically, we didn't re-record it. Re-recorded the vocals, obviously, and did a remix to make it match in with the rest of the tracks. Sang sonically.
Yeah, it fits. It doesn't sound out of place at all.
No, I love the song. It's great.
Yeah. And of course, this time around, you for this album, you have a new vocalist, and Dave Garnett. What's he bringing to the Onslaught camp that maybe, I guess, affects how the rest of you guys have been playing?
He's got so much energy. I know that. he can't believe he's actually singing. I don't think it's still sunk in yet. He's singing with us. He was a massive fan of the band before he'd even joined. I mean, we've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
So he's obviously like so pumped about actually being in the band now. It's like he's still pinching himself, I think. But the enthusiasm he's got, and he's such a talented guy as well. He plays guitar, he plays lead guitar, he sings, he plays bass. So he's got everything. And obviously, as I said, that energy is there. And he was obviously nervous, very nervous when he came in to do the vocals, because he's filling some pretty big shoes of size, and I think a lot of the fans were apprehensive, and that seems to have gone now. Everybody's heard Dave and they think, wow, this is amazing. But I don't think Dave's ever been produced when he's done albums with Bull Riff before. I think it's kind of like self-recorded and stuff like that. So just to ease the nerves, we got Peter Hinton in, a friend of mine. We produced the first 2 Saxon albums. And he's such a lovely guy. He knows music inside out, and he loves Onslaught. And he's such a calming influence. And he came in with Dave, and it was just such an easy process. I mean, Dave absolutely nailed it, and Pete was just guiding him along, and it was incredible.
It's perfectly gelled together, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Got a nice little team there for the next time.
Well, you're a band who seems to have never taken anything, particularly your fans, for granted. How important is that aspect to you, and is it something that was instilled early on?
Yeah, I mean, the Onslaught formed because we were fans, and that was it, basically. So I know what it's like to follow bands. I mean, I followed me and my mate who actually formed Onslaught with me, Paul Hill. We used to follow bands like Discharge, GBH, The Exploited, all over the country when we were kids. Sleeping Rough, anywhere we could get, and just blagging guest lists off the bands because they got to know us, because we were always around at every show they do. So I know what it was like to be a fan, and I know what it was like to be treated well by those bands,
Yeah.
So it's something that we've always taken forward with us. You see a lot of bands who are very kind of au fait with their fans and don't really bother with them after shows and stuff, but that's one of the exciting things of being in a band, going and meeting all these people, as I said. And it's just great to hang out with groups of fans after the shows and all that, and get up to the most ridiculous things and see where it goes. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you're also kind of pulling in the modern direction. You're very active on social media, on Facebook, and answering comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's important. I'll try to do that all the time. I mean, even negative comments, or not necessarily negative, and people don't. Not everybody's going to like your band, and not everybody's going to agree. I mean, I've had a few digs at the lyrics on this song, which I did expect, and I can understand why that is, but I don't get angry about it. I try to address it in a friendly fashion if I can. And that's it. I think people appreciate that. I mean, Blabbermouth, for example, I always go on and respond to the comments on there. And you do get a lot of haters on Blabbermouth for some bands, So I always find to go on there and speak to the fans or speak to the people who are commenting. always works in your favour. We seem to do okay now. We don't get too many trolls going on.
I was looking for your Facebook earlier on. It was a lot calmer than I expected.
Yeah. No, there's been some amazing comments since the video came out. So incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive feeling towards you at the moment. But likewise, you've kind of had like a myriad of ups and downs throughout your career, yet you seem to keep coming back stronger than ever, which is kind of like the music you play. What is about thrash and Onslaught that just seems, I guess, immovable in your opinion?
I just love doing it. As I said, I came from a punk music background, which is about as earthy as you can get, I reckon. And I've carried that all the way through. And nothing ever phases me. If there's a problem, you face the problem head on, and then you make the situation better from that problem. We've had so many lineup changes, as of many other bands, thrash bands in particular, for some reason, I don't know why. But if that happens, you don't sulk about it or go and say, "Oh, I can't do this anymore." Go and find somebody better, and make the band stronger, make the band better, and move on. And we've been fortunate every time to be able to be in a position to do that,
Yeah. Well, finally, do you feel like Onslaught have cemented their legacy in the metal scene, or do you still feel like you've got something to prove?
Yeah, we definitely got something to prove. I think one of the kind of little galling things for me that it spurs me on a lot was back in, I can't remember exactly the year. It was 86 or 87, and I think it was Kerrang, either Kerrang or Metal Hammer. Had this thing on the front cover. Who's going to break next, Slayer or Onslaught? We both signed major deals around the same time.
Okay.
And we made the wrong decision, and they didn't. And you can see where their career went from there. So that still inspires me a lot. There's a lot of goals we need to achieve, and a lot of things we still need to do. So that's why I still got the fire in my belly,
That's brilliant. Amazing to hear. Nige, thank you very, very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Carl. My pleasure.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?